I know the reason why you stay so busy. It's not because your schedule is so demanding. It's really not because you're going to lose something. You have everything to gain. But the problem is you've been seduced. You've been like put into a trance, this illusion that if you stay busy, you're going to get everything you want. And nothing is further from the truth. If you're interested in having what I like to call authentic power, this power without the hustle, without the grind, with the, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I can't do anything else but work feeling, you're going to want to tap into this video because I have the evidence to prove that you will excel, you will have abundance beyond your understanding if you do these simple tips. If you want that, tap in. I'll see you on the inside. Are you like a lot of people who say, I just get my best ideas when I'm driving or when I'm in the shower or like right before I'm getting ready to go to bed? Why? Because you've allowed your body to slow down. You've allowed your mind to come at peace. Now, a lot of us really understand the power in that. But what I've come to realize is a lot of high achieving women, we get lulled into that trance that you got to stay busy and hustle. Like you got to work, 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 and grind, 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 grind. Right. But what I do know is that people who have perfected the power of pausing, they've perfected the power of stillness. They understand that that's where they get their greatest power from. They understand that. One of the times I remember Serena Williams being interviewed after winning the Grand Slam, right, for tennis, which is the highest achievement that you can win. Interviewer was asking her, what do you think about when you're playing tennis? Like, what are the steps? She goes, I don't think about anything. Right? She doesn't think about anything. She clears her mind. She gets into this power of stillness and she just allows her body to work. She's got it on programmed. Why? Because she's learned if I put in this time and train my mind, train my body, the output is going to be just autopilot. See, the problem is a lot of people have gotten into this idea that if I consistently do, work, 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 and never give myself this understanding of how to pause and be still in it, you will never ever achieve. You will constantly feel the hustle, you'll constantly feel the grind, and you'll feel overwhelmed, burnt out, overperforming, over explaining, constantly grinding, all the things that people tell you to do. And then also you never learn how you've been created and why you do the things you do in your unique way is the profound change that the world needs to see. See, because this is what happens, and tell me if I'm right. When you stop scrolling, right? When you stop constantly filling in every single minute, it's kind of like you just sit there and think, hmm, what's going on? Like it allows you this time to sit and be still. But because a lot of us don't believe or understand the philosophy of be still and know, KNOW, you aren't clear as to why that could be a great path for you. But I'm telling you, it is the right path. Because when you get quiet and you allow yourself to sit in that stillness, I believe it will open up a pathway of clarity that you've never had before. Things will come to you a lot easier. You won't have to force yourself in that negotiation. You won't have to constantly beg people to return a phone call to you. You won't always have to ask for the raise in such an aggressive way. You'll be able to get the raise. People will be showering money at you. I'm not saying that you have to not do anything, but I'm telling you that your strategy is flawed. You are in what I call the grind hustle mode, and you're constantly feeling tired. Your body is on breakdown, And it's because you've done this work for so long, because that's what people told you is the strategy for success, that you constantly feel restless even when you're sitting in the pause. And I'm telling you, the strategy is this. It's to really understand this new way of living. So one of the clear remembrance I have, a memory I have of me doing this so many times. And often I get into that trance of scarcity, believing that I have to do something more. But let me give you an example. And I've shared this in previous videos, but it's just so worthy of knowing that when you slow yourself down, you're able to see things clearer. You're able to get the results that you want. So, first time I took the bar exam, I was so stressed. I was consistently working overtime, studying, putting all the extra hours in, doing extra courses, never allowing myself time to just relax and watch a movie, go for a walk. I never allowed myself the time to do that. And of course, I didn't pass the bar exam. And I was so frustrated because I'm like, I worked so hard. You can relate to this, right? I worked so hard. I did all my research. I did all the things, checked all the boxes, but I didn't get what I wanted. And what I was missing was clarity. I was missing peace. I was missing this feeling that it's already done. And so I decided to take a page out of the playbook that I'm giving you right now. And I decided that I was going to approach the bar exam the second time and the last time with a new strategy. And this strategy involved me taking tests, maybe a test in the morning, and then I would allow myself time to go for a walk, go for a run, sit time, and just like see I would actually look at the test results of my bar exam. I crossed out the results from last time. I put in a new score and I put that up on the wall, and I would sit there and I would look at it. And I would visualize myself actually going into the exam, what I would feel like going into the exam, how I would feel after answering each question, that I would not go back and try to redo the question, that I knew that I had the right responses for each question every single time. And there was a flow of me taking the exam. I'm telling you, I had the whole strategy down. And there was nothing but ease and peace. And every single time I finished a section of the bar exam, I was done early. And I did not sit there and go, oh gosh, what should I do next? No, I sat there and I allowed myself to feel that it is done because I've already passed. You see, that is the feeling of what I would call authentic power. Meaning you don't have to put anything artificial in it. You don't have to work overtime. You don't have to do anything special, but you have to sit in that stillness and you have to be still and know that everything is working in your favor. That's a different strategy. That's a whole new revolution, right? That is a belief that is so sound and what I would call an inner knowing, that why would you try to do anything otherwise? But I'll tell you, the reason why people get so caught up in that is because that's what society says. The world tells you you got to work like that, right? And people say, well, this is a proven strategy. This has worked every single time. Tell me, how are those people doing now? And a lot of people are so stressed out that even when they're on vacation, they can't relax. They work so hard. "Ah, I got to work so hard. I got to work so hard. I work so hard. I got to get to vacation. Got to get to vacation, right? They get to vacation. And they're like, oh my God, I got so much work to do when I get back. I can't believe this. I got to work in that. But like, when do you find peace? What are you working for? Why are you doing all of that? Driving yourself crazy. It doesn't make sense. And that's the reason why that strategy doesn't work. And that's the reason why, sis, you stay busy all the time, constant. And then you're like, you don't understand. You don't understand. No, I do understand. I've been there, done that. I'm not doing that. The reason is that busyness is seen as this glorification, and it's not ambition. Let me tell you what busyness is. It's anesthesia. Ooh, Busyness is anesthesia, right? Because it numbs you from the reality of you being able to achieve exactly what you want. Now, I didn't write that. My girl, Yanaya Curry, who is our director of communication, she writes our weekly emails. And that just was like mind blowing. You mean to stay busy as anesthesia? Yeah, because then you have a story to tell. You sound like, oh, I'm so important. Where in reality, it's just an illusion. You've stepped into a deep heavy illusion, and it's time for you to come out of the anesthesia, and it's time for you to come alive, be alive, and understand the vibrancy and the joy of living life to the full. Like, who wouldn't want that? This is what we are trying to tell you is available to you, but you have to want it. You have to get to the point where you're like, I don't believe that. I don't choose to live crazy. I don't choose to live constantly nonstop and living in this trance of scarcity. I want you to choose otherwise. I want to read to you a portion of what Yanaya wrote in this newsletter. Again, these are a Rise 53 paid newsletter where people actually pay on a weekly basis a very small sum of money to get this weekly like nourishment, coaching through emails. And then we meet every single Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sometimes we're going to be changing those times to actually taking advantage of different people in different time zones. But for right now, it's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, and I want to tell you what she wrote in this email because it just makes so much sense that a lot of people will say that they're moving so they don't have to feel a sense of uncertainty, right? Like people like to stay busy because they're grieving. Oh gosh, I just got to stay busy because I don't want to feel what it feels like to grieve, right? I don't want to feel what it feels like to be misaligned. I don't want to feel what it feels like to have what's called this quiet suspicion that something is not right, right? Because see, that's the knowing. Because what you resist persists, and if you consistently stay in that mindset, you'll never ever get to the other side of what I would call the promised land. So one of the things that we have found in our community that has been life changing, life altering, is what we call our 3553 method. Now I want to share a little backstory of how I came up with the 3553 method is because when I came out of a depression, again, a misalignment came to me, and it came in the form of depression in 2020. And I kept seeing these numbers, 35 and 53, every single time that I would either be sitting still, or I'd look to the left, or I'd look at the clock, I'd look at the phone. It would say 35 or it would say 53. And I'm just like, okay, what is going on? Right? Because if I stayed busy, I would not dive into what that meant. And here's what I discovered: the numbers 35 and 53 were a signal to me that I was being guided, that everything in my life had purpose, everything in my life had meaning. And so, as a result of that, I decided that's actually a strategy, a framework that I could build into my business. You see, because if you take, and this is actually proven through neuroscience, just taking 3 minutes a day to calm your mind down, to allow you to sit in a sense of peace, in stillness, is profoundly going to impact your brain in a positive way. So I decided to take the 3553 method and create a framework, a strategy for you to be able to sit in what I would call stillness. And we actually created a document that can help guide you through this process. So here's what we suggest: 3 minutes in the morning of you actually just breathing. Because, if you follow me in our community long enough, you know that we're all about taking time to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Well, God just gave you this beautiful device called breath work that allows you to be able to calm your mind down. And just in that moment, I was able to just get feeling a sense of euphoria, in this sense of, groundedness. So 3 minutes a morning, allowing yourself to breathe, having positive music, just to get started. Then I suggest that you take your phone and create a notification that tells you to take a 5-minute break in the mid morning around 10:30, 11 a.m. And then take a 5-minute break in mid afternoon about 3:34. And then I would say take a 3-minute notification for the evening to right before you go to bed. Now, there's a lot of science behind pulling yourself out of, right when you first wake up in the morning time, your body is producing serotonin, your pineal gland is saying, time to wake up, your cortisol levels rise. The best way to get yourself to equalize is to get into that 3-minute practice. Best way for you to be able to get into the melatonin that your pineal gland is developing in the evening time, which tells you that it's time for you to move into that deep, deep, deep delta brainwave sleep, is to do a 3-minute like breakdown. The 5 minutes that you're doing in the day are just to remind yourself that what you did in the morning and you did in the evening is a good thing, right? One of the things you really need to be doing is having what I would call this daily practice where during your day, you are reminding yourself that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and that you realize that your best position is going to be in the present moment, not stressing about what actually happened in the past from a phone call that you went through, not trying to project a future that is going to keep you crazy. As if it's not going to be until I get this that I can be happy, right? It's to get you into the present moment, that if I'm just grateful for what I have right now in this moment, being still, pausing, not falling into scarcity, but living with this abundant mindset, I mean, you're going to be more powerful. You're actually going to realize that you have special gifts, special traits, special ways of thinking, doing that no one else has. That's what makes you authentic. The story that you have has created things in you that only you can think of. And that is a beautiful place to live. So, my question is like, why wouldn't you want to be this? This is the evidence I'm talking about, right? So, here's what is when you pause, here are some of the beautiful positive gifts that are given to you that you need to recognize. Number one is that you are going to see emotional patterns that keep occurring in your life. And then you're going to realize I have a choice to continue that or not. The second thing you're going to realize is the internal resistance that keeps like coming up every single time you try to do that. That's resistance. That's on your accord, not on anybody else's, right? That's internal resistance. You're also going to see where your energy leaks out. Often, until you start to understand where the energy leaks out, is where you're going to be able to be. Lastly, is where you're pushing yourself instead of trusting yourself. These are the tips that I want to share with you. These are the things I believe are going to help you get to the next level. And I want you to try them. I want you to put them on and I want you to see how it works for you. Now, this is what we talk about in our Rise 53 Inner Circle, and we want to give you the opportunity to learn more. So just take the link that we have in our post and go ahead and try to put that into your browser to see if this is right for you. Also, you might want to take a look at going into our establishing yourself as a general subscriber. This is a free weekly subscription that we get out to you, but you just have to put your email in and we have a link there for you. Lastly, if you want to dive all in, we have the Rise Advocates Academy for you. We'd love for you to check it out. This is by application only, and we have various cohorts. So we want you to get immersed in this material. Does it sound good? Now, did I prove my case? Is the evidence pretty clear that you want to pause, that you want to be still? We hope you get this. Please like and subscribe this video, share this with your friends, share this with people who might need it. And we will see you inside of the Rise 53 Inner Circle or in our community or in the next video. All right. See you then.